Hello once again, Wildcats. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner presented by Atrium Health. My name is Paul Roper, joined by Davidson College head football coach Scott Abel. After the Cats win their fourth in a row, a gritty victory against the Butler Bulldogs in Indiana, 35-33. It was after the Bulldogs had a 58-yard field goal attempt that came up short to help the Cats with the win. And what also helped in the win was something we didn't mention in postgame on Saturday, Coach, and that was the stop two-point conversion attempt. The Bulldogs tried to throw some trickeration. They threw it to their 6'8" offensive lineman, Adam Dolan, but the Cats were able to stop and talk about that play.
Well, really a great play by a handful of defenders, right? You know, Jonathan Hammond staying home right there, which made that whole concept a little more difficult for Butler. And then the pursuit by our linebacking core, and particularly Saban McLaughlin right there, made a huge collision that kept him from going across that goal line. What a big play. And you mentioned their trick plays. We saw everything out of their playbook Saturday, and you know they had the Philly special pass, right? That was their first touchdown. They had a throwback to the quarterback, and then they had the throwback to the tackle. So really proud of our guys and how they adjusted throughout that game.
Sophomores really stepped up on offense once again. Mari Adams now at 340 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns in his last 2 games. Coulter Cleveland has thrown 87% of his passes for completions in PFL play. Brody Reyna had the game's first touchdown. What can you tell us about how excited that you've been to see the sophomore step up over the last month?
Well, certainly, you love it when you see your guys grow up right in front of you. And I've used that word, growing up, growth, a lot this season. For the reason is that we're young. And so seeing them come into their own has been exciting for us. And, you know, I compliment our leadership. I compliment our older guys in their rooms that have helped them grow into their roles. And so really proud of the entire group and really happy the way they're executing at this point.
Now that you've had time to process the film from Saturday's win, what were some of the other things that jumped out at you?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and I spoke about it in our post game, probably not our cleanest game. You know, if I were going to give it a letter grade, probably a B- game. And if you told me 5 weeks ago we go on the road at Butler, who I think is one of the best teams in our league, have a B- game and escape with a win, I'd say probably not going to happen. And so the fact that we've done that speaks to how far we've come over the last 5 weeks. It also speaks to the leadership we're getting, you know, and the way we've come together as a team, our culture. And we've talked a lot about culture these last 4 or 5 weeks with our guys, and I love to see us rallying around that. And incredibly proud of that win. You have to win games like that to continue to get to the next important game, right? So, you know, that game's over, next big game's Valpo. But to get to that next big game, you got to come out on top on those gritty type games, and we did.
Over the weekend, some of the boosters joined the Cats on the trip to Indianapolis, and we know that the support for the program is certainly integral to the success. Gridiron Club's a big part of that, and what can you tell us about how important the Gridiron Club is to the success of this football program?
Well, we would not survive without our Gridiron Club, and we're so grateful for all our Gridiron members, those that participate in the functionality of that, right, which encompasses our families, our parents, and our alumni group, and our students, right? Everyone can be a part of the Gridiron, right? You know, and so to be able to take some of our most generous donors with us on the trip is always a pleasure. It's always a great thing. It's even a better thing when you get a win. You know, last year that trip was out in San Diego, so a little disappointing, right, for those people that made that trip because we didn't play our best and came home with a loss. This year we go get a great road win with them on the trip with us. Really exciting when that happens.
And the trip also included an opportunity to visit the Colts practice facility, which was exciting for me because I've been a lifelong Colts fan, but also the Colts have a tie with Davidson, is that their head strength coach, Richard Howell, is one of the top quarterbacks in Davidson history, having played for Coach Fag in the early 90s. Talk about that experience to have your players do their walkthrough in an NFL practice facility.
Well, we love to do different things with our guys when we go on the road, and you know, whether it's at West Point, you know, which we did when we went to Marist, or at the Colts facility, and the opportunity that we were provided, right, is once again, it speaks to the volumes of the network that we have, the commitment by our Davidson alums to always give back and want to be a part of our program. We're very grateful for that. And I was excited to be there, right? You know, you learn they got a great little par 3 setup. Right? You know, so the golf game is being worked on at times out there. It looked great, looked manicured, right? Shout out to their greens crew out there.
There you go. So maybe get a little par 3 action next time we head out there. We'll see. But now it's back at home the next couple of weeks. It's Wildcat weekend. The Valpo Beacons come in. Last time you faced them was 4 years ago. Their name wasn't even the Beacons. They were the Crusaders back then. They're 1-5 this year, but their 3 losses in Pioneer football play have all come by 6 points or less. So they've had some close calls. What are you expecting against a team that's really hungry for a win after coming so close in each of their 3 conference games?
Well, I expect an unbelievable fight, right? We need to be at our best for 4 quarters. It reminds me, we went through a stretch in 2018, my first year, very similar, where you feel like you have a shot to be 5-1, not 1-5 during that stretch. And that's how I feel about them, right? They could easily be 5-1. And so, they're very well coached, built a little different from us. They take a ton of pride in probably slowing down the game, right? And, defensively, right, they are extremely well coached. They're tough. They're bigger kids. And so it's going to be a battle Saturday, right? I'm glad we're here in Richardson Stadium, and hopefully our Wildcat Nation will come out and support us.
That it will, and it is Wildcat Weekend, as I had mentioned. So how excited are you and your players to have Davidson alumni, young and old, attend this weekend's game?
Well, our alumni base is back for so many games. Another opportunity, right, for our fans and our alums to find a reason to get to Richardson, to get back to Davidson, to see a greater collection of their friends and families throughout the years that were Wildcats. And it's always a big weekend on Wildcat Weekend. We're excited it's here, and we're excited to be back home.
That we are. Can't wait to get it done again, Coach. Let's go for 5 in a row this weekend. Best of luck. He's head coach Scott Abel. My name is Paul Roper. If you can't make it to Richardson Stadium this weekend, we invite you not only to donate to the Gridiron Club, but also listen to our coverage on the Pepsi pregame show. It starts at 12:30 on WHIP 1350, 99.3 FM, as well as the Varsity Network app powered by Learfield. Kickoff at 1 p.m. You can also watch online via Davidson All Access at davidsonwildcats.com. That does it for another edition of Coach's Corner presented by Atrium Health. My name is Paul Roper. So long, everybody.